are being sold a dream which will very quickly turn into a nightmare. The reality is not what's on offer. And I do get the strong sense from the discussions I've had so far since I've been on island that Falklands may believe that they can regulate or policy their way through controlling this industry and gaining more benefits economically from it. You are absolutely kidding yourself. You have no idea of the huge weight that this industry will place on the Falklands, which means they end up getting everything they ask for and taking more from you that you ever thought you'd give.
Salmon farming is a massive industry and so much is produced each year.
Yeah.
How much of that money actually gets put back into the economy, you know, with the fishing royalties, tax revenue against tax paid? What's that kind of looking like?
Well, look, to be clear, there's no royalties on salmon. Royalties apply to a wild resource that is not owned by a developer. Salmon operators own those fish, and so there's no royalties to be had. In terms of the income or return to actually the community, really minimal to none to it's costing us money. So we don't get taxes. We have direct employment of around 1% or less than 1% of the Tasmanian available employable people. However, we have a massive amount of regulatory effort in a vain attempt to control this industry, of which we have failed, and government-funded science to explore and address impacts arising from this industry. So really, we're at a deficit. It's costing us money, and the profits are absolutely to be made, and they are made by shareholders and a few executives. They're not shared with those communities. For me, just the nutrient discharges alone is the only decision you have to think about for this. So even if you were to reduce it, say, I believe the economic minimum might be a 35,000 tonne industry. Even at that size, we're talking about a huge amount of nutrients discharged untreated into the marine environment, and you will see impacts. So the only question to ask is not, do we have enough science? Could we regulate our way to a better situation than Tasmania? Your one question is, do we accept 500 times the discharge of our current sewage population, sewage equivalent, directly discharged into our environment? Do we accept antibiotics? Do we accept chemical use? If your answer to that is yes, well, heaven help you. But if it's no, you don't really need more science, because you've demonstrated your values, what you as an island would like for yourself, and which is a burgeoning wild fishery, for example, pristine waterways and coastal areas, healthy bird colonies that people want to come from all around the world and see. Those things are at direct risk. At the end of the day, Falkland Islands has all the power. It is your island. You have the power right now. And so, you know, you're not going to sell your home when you don't want to sell your home. Somebody can't force you to give away your rights in your home. So you have an opportunity. They may well tie you up in a few knots between, hypothetically, if you say no at the end of the consultation period, which I really encourage you to do, yeah, there may be some rough waters ahead, but I'm absolutely sure that if you stay your ground, you can eventually prevail, and you should, because if you don't, you'll end up exactly like we have in Tasmania.